Hey guys, it's Mai here. So in this video, I kind of wanted to talk about something that I've been wanting to make a video for a long time now, and that's just introducing you, someone who may want to start drawing digitally, introduce them or someone to digital art. And I'll kind of explain in this video like my journey with art itself, my path to digital art. I am by no means a professional. I am strictly a hobbyist. Maybe one day it'll be professional. If not, that's okay, because drawing should be, in my opinion, if it's not something you're doing for a living, whether or not it is something you do for a living, it should be something that you enjoy, something that you have fun with. So I do get people asking me, how do I start with digital art? I'm not good, or I don't have a lot of practice. I get that all the time with friends or just random people asking me how to get started. And my answer is always the same. I always say it's really easy to get started. Now that we're more in a digital age, there are more resources for young and, new artists. There's so many different avenues that you can take when it comes to art. So I would suppose I started drawing just whenever I could pick up a pen. I would always doodle in notebooks, but again, that was all traditional. I didn't really start doing digital art until about 2010-ish. I was not good, but I had fun. I think it was a bamboo tablet, so Wacom or Wacom, however you prefer to say it. I had one of those small, it would fit in a shoebox sort of size, and I would use GIMP. And again, in this video, I'll talk about like resources, software, programs, tablets that people recommend or I recommend, just sort of like a guideline of what you could do. So basically, I started off with GIMP. It is pretty much Photoshop's cheap cousin. It's not a bad program. I just didn't know how to use it. I downloaded so many brushes that it would take 20 minutes to open up the software. So don't do that. And so basically all throughout when I was like younger and through school, I would use that tablet, and I had like a teeny little laptop that I would use. And nowadays it is so much easier and more accessible to start digital art, because you could have an iPad with, like an Apple Pen or something, or a stylus. There are a lot more different suppliers for drawing tablets, as there were, so many years ago. So it is really accessible to you. But basically, I started really small, and then I saved up a lot of money, and then I bought my current tablet so many years ago. She needs an upgrade. My Wacom Intuos Pro Medium, and for a while there I had bought a Huion tablet before my Wacom, and I didn't like it. I heard many great things about the brand. The only thing I didn't like was that there was this dead space in my tablet. But again, it was when the company was first getting started, so it's been many years. So I don't have a solid opinion, but that's what happened. And then I bought my Wacom, and years and years later, it still held up today. So that after GIMP, I switched over to Paint Tool Sci, and I still use that program today. I know a lot of people do, and the developer actually, you can buy it from his website. I will say that anytime that I have had Sci, it was pirated only because I was some, 10, 15-year-old kid that, I didn't have any money and I couldn't convince my mom to, I could barely convince her to buy me a tablet, let alone a software. But now I have, and, now I make money and can do that. But other software that I've tried to use is Photoshop. I've tried using that. Dabbled in it a little bit, if you could say. And then Krita, Fire Alpaca. Basically, there's a long list of programs that you can use. Even right now, in this video, I've been trying to learn Clip Studio Paint because I want that to be my replacement for Paint Tool Sai because it's more versatile, but I'm not saying that Sai is a bad program. I just, trying new things is part of your path as as so basically, you might say, this is a lot of information, how do I get started? And if you don't have a tablet, literally just use your mouse. Or your touchpad, or let's just start with computers versus, smartphones or iPads. So if you have just a computer or a laptop, use your mouse pad or some sort of mouse with like Paint or Paint Tool Sai, or find something that you're comfortable with and mess around with it. The best way to get used to something is to explore and try a lot of different things. So even when I first started, like I said, doing digital art, I had GIMP, but I also used Microsoft Paint. I love doing pixel art, and I still love doing pixel art to this day. And that's a whole different video for pixel art. But if you have your phone, there's plenty of apps. I personally love Procreate. Even if you aren't technically an artist, you surely know what that is by now. If you have done some research or seen other artists that use it, it is a wonderful program. I don't use my iPad very often. I prefer to use my computer, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. If you like using your iPad more, then I would say go for it. Use Procreate. And then, that covers, I guess, hardware. You don't need anything super crazy when it comes to, I guess, computer specifications. As long as it can run a program, you'll be fine. And I know, if you're working with 3D modeling, you're going to want something, tougher, but again, different video. And then I guess let's talk about resources. Like I said, nowadays it's so easy and there's so many resources that you can use. So literally, if you just Google, anime tutorial, eye tutorial, how to draw manga, how to draw anime, how to draw this or that, or anatomy, or basically the world is your oyster. And you can, basically there's a resource for everything. Personally, I like to find an artist that, I admire or I look up to, see if they have any tutorials or videos. Twitch nowadays, you can, watch live streams of people drawing. Or definitely one of my big pointers is use references. So there are a ton of references. Senshi Stock on DeviantArt is super helpful. She has tons of reference photos for any pose that you want. And I am not kidding. We are talking any pose, but worst comes to worst, take a picture of yourself. Even if you don't like the camera, neither do I, by the way. Take a picture and use that as your reference, if you're able to. And then basically watch some tutorials if you want to learn how to do something specific. What I like about Clip Studio is that they have a lot of brush resources, and you can find tons and tons of tutorials specifically for Clip Studio. But that's the same for Photoshop, or Sci, or any of the other art programs that you have out there. And then so after resources, then you get to maybe actually drawing or painting or rendering or whatever you want to do. And obviously that's the hard part because you have to put effort and work and, try to enjoy what you do. I know sometimes, especially, I feel this a lot when I draw, is I get really frustrated that it's not turning out how I want. And you may experience that a lot when you first start drawing. You may say, well, it's not perfect like the picture that I want it to be in my head. And my advice is just keep going, because you're gonna have to keep on practicing and stay persistent. And I hear that, echoed throughout any person you ask that does art, whether it be a hobby or professional, is to always practice and never give up. There's some times where I have a piece that I'm working on and it just doesn't fall through the way I want it to. And sometimes I will just get up, save my file and walk away, and maybe a day or two later I see it differently. I see it in a different perspective, and then I finish it. You shouldn't rush it, especially if you're doing a piece for yourself or for comfort. I especially, and I know a lot of people find comfort in doing art, and hopefully you don't make it stressful, and I'm sure all the actual industry professionals have many other opinions. But as a hobbyist, just, especially just starting out, just try to enjoy it. There is no pressure except the pressure that you put on yourself. And then when you get to the actual art process, everyone I have talked to or, watched or studied or referenced, everyone has their own process of doing art. I myself, I am trying to really explore different ways of doing art. So, you may have like a classic cartoony example like I have here, like anime-ish, where it is literally just, I have my sketch, I have the line art, then I color underneath it. I've seen some people where they just do it one layer, paint it, render it. Other people have a bajillion layers. But there's so many different ways, and I highly suggest doing a lot of studying, referencing, finding a way or style of art that you just really enjoy doing. I know some avenues are a lot harder than others. In my opinion, I think painting and rendering can be a little harder than, flat color, but that doesn't devalue it. And when speaking of value, you put your own value into your art. So whenever you go through the process, you get your hardware, you think of something in your mind and pick out some references, sketch it, then create it, and then take a look at it. Then I hope you're satisfied with it. I hope you, and this is something I want to do more too, and I hope you do as well, but I hope you fall in love with your art. And there's a time in my life where art was my escape, and I mean, it always has been and always will be, but every piece I looked at was like, wow, I am so good. But you also have to balance that out with being critical of your art, not to the point of hating it, but to realize, hey, maybe next time I need to get a better reference for this hand, or maybe I should avoid using, the same face over and over, the same pose. And that's where practicing comes in. So all in all, I hope that this has helped you. I hope you get a better idea of, what you could try to do. Start or try to start your art journey, essentially. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for perhaps new artists or current artists that want to, explore different things or try new things, or have any advice for newcomers. So thank you.